Um, Hi everyone, Gregory here, and today we dive into the notion of time and the importance of being present and understanding the moment now. So, as I explained, I'm doing a little answer to Ralph's video. So if you haven't checked Ralph's video on time and being an infinite being, I suggest you watch it because I'll overlap over the subject and concept of linear time. So essentially, what I want to get into is your ability to bend your reality the way you want. Before going into bending your reality, I want to explain the concept of linear time. So as Ralph says, most of us, we get stuck into a linear approach of life. You know, you have school, you get your degree, you get a job, you get a family, you retire. Really linear, already pre-programmed. We compare ourselves to others. We say, oh, if this guy has more money, more success, I want to be like him. If he's like this at 25, I must be like this at 25. You know, we always externalize ourselves, and in that process of looking outside and looking at the the structure holding society together and holding the patterns that are well seen by your peers, your family, we end up compromising our freedom and our ability to take responsibility for our life and start creating, shaping our reality the way we want. And in my personal experience, it's going, you know, it started as a mind shape your reality kind of thing, and now it's going towards, okay, we can bend reality the way we want, because if we transcend time and we get into a place where past, now, and future is now, then we are free to do whatever we want when we want. And that's where I want to explain and get into the subject of how I process information. So this video is going to be really personal, and my hope is that you get a little insight into how I think, so that maybe you can try it out on your own and start experiencing with the concept of bending your reality. And as I said, if you don't fully grasp the concepts of being an infinite being and getting out of a linear understanding of time, I suggest you go back to Ralph's video, and I also suggest that you watch a video that I've posted lower on the weekly dose about bending your reality, explained by a neuroscientist and MIT prof. So with Ralph, the neuroscience PhD, and I together, I hope that you'll get an idea that you can transcend yourself, transcend time, and really become the creator that you are. So how do I get into that state of flow, and how do I get into that state of bending reality? So what I realized over time was that everything that happened in the past, I could visualize it back, change the things that I didn't like in the past, modify my behavior, visualize how the other persons would react to my new behavior, and essentially relive the moment in my head until it fits the perfect outcome, the desired outcome. And it started by the pickup artist, like the PUA movement. So when I was 17, I got into pickup, and I realized that I was really bad with girls, and essentially I would approach girls on the street and it would not succeed, or I would do mistakes. And what I would do is, after failing, I would sit down, and as I walked back home in the bus or in the park, I would review everything that had happened, change the words, change the sentences, change my approach, change everything I did wrong or felt that I did wrong, and replayed it until I got a smile of life. So that's where the notion of the smile of life comes in, is you visualize things in your head, you shape things in your head until your hardware, which is your body, talks to you and tells you that you are reaching on your highest self. It's like you're going for your highest potential. So it started with pickup, and then as I evolved and grew into the business world, grew into startup, grew into music, well, I started applying these concepts of visualization. Essentially, bending your reality is visualization. And many of you have probably heard of top performing athletes at the Olympics visualizing their races before doing the actual race. And I can guarantee you that in the visualization they do, they win. For example, Michael Phelps, he visualizes new world records. He visualizes how he's going to jump, how he enters water. Every movement is visualized. One day, I had the opportunity to talk to Alexandre Bilodeau, who's a gold medalist in skiing. And I asked him, how do you visualize? And for him, he told me, I visualize every muscle in my body. I visualize internally how my knees are going to move, how my skis are going to interact with snow, how am I going to perform in the jump, like my rotations while I jump, how do I do them? So all that visualization, has been proven to work, and scientists use it indeed, athletes use it indeed, and the Army, Navy SEALs, the best top performing military forces, they're on into visualization to really train their minds so that when reality, the real world comes in, everything works out. So going back to how visualization ties to bending reality and being in the now, is that as I was saying, if you take the past and you reshape it in your mind, you're essentially, one, changing the past in your head. You're also training for the future, because in the process of shaping the past, you visualize, you imagine new scenarios for the future. So the future becomes the present, the past becomes the present, and you in the present moment, you're so focused into the activity that you are fully focused and present in the now. So then you transcend that linear relationship that you have with time, and you just become one. You simply are. You are doing your thing, and the time on your clock, your relationship to time, it dilutes. It's like, oh, that was 5 minutes. It felt like 20 minutes. We've all experienced doing an activity, and it felt like 3 hours. It was 20 minutes. These boring classes we go to at university, it's like 1 hour seems like 20. So this is it's the opposite of flow state. It's like you're so not in flow state that like time is like, everything feels like a year. It's so long. It's terrible. It's a terrible feeling. On the opposite, when you are in flow state and time evaporates, you just are so present that a year is in 1 minute, 1 minute is in 2 years, 1 week is a month, 1 month is 1 second. It's like you start playing with this relationship, and that's where it gets really interesting. So I've talked about how I changed the past, modified my behavior in the past in my head to become better in the future. But recently, what I've been really doing is totally be in the future, like visualize the future and put the blocks differently in my head to get the perfect future that gives me a smile of life and bringing back in the present. So less and less I become someone who's playing with the past, and more I'm someone who's starting to play with the future. And I've quoted Jeff Bezos already saying, like, it's easier to invent the future than to predict it. And my bet is that that's what he does. It's like when you start visualizing the future and building the blocks for yourself and seeing what is the preferred outcome for your soul, well, you go right there. So essentially what you do is you build information in the future that resonates with you, and you bring it back in the present, and then you take action to get to the future. But everything is now. So you're not like dreamy and lost in the future, and you're not negative and lost in the past, because you are fully in the moment. So hopefully I didn't lose myself too much, and I got the opportunity to help you maybe change the way you think, and see the past as something that is shapeable, and see the future as something that is shapeable. And the best way to shape them is to be present in the moment and focused in the action of visualization. And then as soon as the visualization makes your body vibrate with a smile of life, take action towards what you just visualized. So then it's like visualization, action. Action brings more visualization. More visions bring more action. And then you start building that feedback loop in which you become the creator of your reality. And once you start creating the reality you want, well, happiness follows, inner peace follows, whatever you want follows, because you are the creator and you are the architect of your world. And that's it. It all starts with changing your relationship to time and realizing that you are much greater than it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.